Hey guys, it's Charlie here, and today we're talking about what financial independence means. Simply put, financial independence is the point in your life where you no longer have to work in order to live. This is markedly different from retirement, which traditionally is the end of your working life. In the old school worldview, you've planned accordingly if retirement coincides with financial independence. In the US, this typically happens for women at the age of 62.3 and at 64.6 for men. The problem with retirement is that it ties you to a schedule. People who believe in retirement plan their whole lives around this number. People work backwards from the lifestyle that they want to sustain to determine these two things, right? Number one, how much they need to make. And number two, how much they need to save. And in doing so, people who are working towards retirement usually keep one variable constant, and that is time. They essentially try to save up to a minimum number, and then when the time runs out, they live in accordance with what they've earned up until that point. But this makes absolutely no sense, and here's why. Time is the only thing you cannot get more of in this life. Therefore, it is your most scarce resource, and it should be extremely precious to you. Keeping time constant makes it easier for you to project how much money you will earn, and therefore how much you will save, and therefore how much you will have by retirement. But the problem with this thinking is that you've essentially blocked out the larger part of your younger years of life and given them to somebody else. You are selling your time to build someone else's company. And unless you have ownership in that company, you're not benefiting at all from the work that you're putting in. Additionally, you have very little control over your fate at this company. You could be fired at any time for any reason. So your life plans could change in an instant. The key here is to realize that the time variable of this equation does not have to be constant. We can separate these two dates, financial independence and retirement, which traditionally are kept together. We can split them apart and reach financial independence much earlier than retirement. Once we realize that these 2 points are not intrinsically linked, there is no reason that they need to happen at exactly the same time, 64 years after you're born. Financial independence doesn't have to be the culmination of a long career. In fact, it should be as soon as possible. Ideally, it happens much before then. There's 2 levers that you can use to control the speed of your financial independence. The first is your income not from salary. The second is your expenses required for your desired lifestyle. It's just that simple. When number 1 is greater than number 2, you have reached financial independence. So with these 2 variables, you can see that there's really only 2 approaches to take in order to solve this problem. You could either increase your income not from salary, or decrease your expenses for a desired lifestyle. Either way, you're going to reach financial freedom. It's just a matter of which approach you want to take. So let me dig into each one of these approaches. The first approach is to increase your income not from salary. If you can imagine that your expenses from desired lifestyle are at this level, and your current income not from salary is at this level, approach number 1 is to increase your income not from salary up to this point so that it surpasses your expenses from desired lifestyle. In my opinion, approach number 1 is the better strategy because you're not settling for a lifestyle that is less than what you want. It allows you to size your ambitions and work towards that goal and hopefully ultimately achieve the lifestyle that you want. But it is more challenging because it requires you to increase your income. It is entirely possible that you could end up working your entire life longer than 64 years and never achieve the level of financial success that you're hoping to. Let's dig a little deeper into this strategy. But the idea is it's income that you produce when you exclude your salary. Most people make the majority of their income through their salary, right? The job that they do 9 to 5 and get paid by an employer. I'm saying that does not count. And really, if you've ever heard the phrase, let your money work for you, that's what we're talking about here. Your job income doesn't count because someone is paying you money in exchange for your time. You're trading your time for money. And that's not independence, that's dependence. Despite what all those gurus tried to sell you, there's only one reliable and reproducible way to generate income outside of your salary. And that one way is to accumulate assets. Quick side note here, many gurus say that starting a business is the path towards financial freedom. Those are damn lies. While starting a business is the only way to create massive wealth, it is essentially a glorified job. In many ways, you're still trading your time for money. There is one crucial difference though, which is that your reward is tied to the outcome of the company. And that is a big difference, because that means that you can benefit disproportionately from the amount of time that you put in. But usually this looks like a massive investment of time in the beginning, when the outcome is uncertain, that hopefully turns into a big return in the future. You get higher rewards for the uncertainty that you are investing in. The only arena in which you can generate income not from salary is by having your assets generate cash for you. This is also known as investing. In a future video, I'll discuss the various types of assets and the pros and cons of each. So if you want to see that, please subscribe for enlightening finance content with a philosophical slant. So perhaps you caught that this is why saving is so important when you're young. You need to reach the threshold as soon as possible where you can invest in appreciating or income-producing assets as soon as possible so you can benefit from compound interest. Income-producing and appreciating assets snowball over time to grow your wealth without any additional time input or focus on your part. This is the only true passive income, and it's exactly what you need to reach financial independence. You could be making $1 million a year, but if you haven't figured out a way to convert that money into more money that works for you, you're actually farther behind than the person who makes $30K a year, but has figured out a way to invest that money and generate income. But has figured out how to invest that money and generate income or appreciation. The reason is really simple. The person who's making $1 million a year is still trading their time for money. As soon as they stop working, they're not making any more money. But the person who's generating income, no matter what, can stop working. They only get paid if they give up their time. The $30K a year person can stop working tomorrow and they're still making money. This means that everything that the high income person does is more expensive in terms of opportunity cost than for the person who makes $30,000 a year. The money that the low income person is making, not from salary, happens regardless of if that person shows up to work or not. The low income person could be sitting on a beach and he's still making more money than the $1 million a year person who hasn't figured out how to invest. I would take money that works for me over money that I have to work for any day of the week. All right, and approach number 2 is the flip side to this, right? If we have your expenses for the desired lifestyle here and your income not from salary here, the other approach, instead of increasing your income not from salary up here or here, we can move the expenses required for the desired salary down here to meet your existing salary level. That's option 2. You can start by asking yourself, how much do I need to be happy? That question essentially determines how much money outside of salary you need to make in order to become financially independent. Because again, once your income not from salary is greater than the expenses required for your desired lifestyle, you're financially free. This approach, in which you decrease the expenses required for your desired lifestyle, is also known as the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early, is what that stands for. And while it is a completely valid approach, and I do agree with a lot of the principles and ideas behind FIRE, and while it is a completely valid approach, and I do generally agree with a lot of the principles and values of FIRE, such as extreme frugality, I don't think that FIRE is a path to a good life. Personally, I think that the pursuit of wealth itself is far too exciting to give up. After all, if you retire at 30, what will you do with all your time anyway? To me, FIRE is kind of like a cheat code. Sure, it does get you to the same end goal, financial independence, but you completely miss out on the process along the way, which really is the fun part anyway. It kind of feels like you're settling for a lifestyle that you have without really trying to elevate your own lifestyle, if that's what you want. So why not shoot for the lifestyle that you really want? The process of getting there will be tons of fun. I promise. Hopefully if you've stuck all the way through this video, you understand what financial independence is. why it's so powerful, and why it should be your first goal. I've shown you 2 potential routes you can take to get there, and which one I personally think is better. If you're interested in learning more and learning how you can reach financial independence and other philosophical and life-focused themes around money, finance, and what it takes to live a good life, please subscribe below and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Thank you.